Welcome to the People's Business. On this episode, we delve into the latest news and trends shaping our world. So we're discussing the Zmoney digital platform, a fintech company that provides remittances services, among other products, to the Caribbean. Now, with the rise of digital payments and the need for more accessible remittance services, Zmoney is revolutionizing the way people send and receive money across the region. Joining us today are three experts from Zeepay, Felicity Jaforktuk, Country Manager, Kenisha Connel, Service Delivery Manager, and we also have with us Gabriella Ampambeng, Compliance Analyst. Good evening to you, ladies, and welcome to the program.
Good evening.
We'll be exploring the features and benefits of Zmoney, the challenges of operating in the fintech industry, and the impact of digital payments on the Caribbean economy. Stay tuned for a thought-provoking discussion on Zmoney, the digital money platform, right here on The People's Business. We'll be right back. Of course, we invite you to be a part of this evening's discussion as well on 228-5562 and 228-5563. And boy, we know you'll have lots of questions. So let's dive right in. Let me start with you, Felicity. Can you tell us more about Zmoney's vision and mission and how it aligns with the needs of the Caribbean community in this area?
Hello, Tisha. Thank you. Zmoney is a subsidiary of leading cross-border fintech company called Zeepay, known globally as Zeepay. Across the Caribbean, we're trading as Zmoney. Our company focuses on terminating remittances directly into mobile money wallets, onto Visa cards, and directly into bank accounts. We also operate our branch networks, which offer cash payouts to our customers when they receive their transfers. So our main focus is on remittance transfers, which we facilitate across the globe into Barbados and across the wider Caribbean. This is a service that we offer in multiple countries across the globe, over 35 countries, 20 in Africa, and the remaining in the Caribbean. Our vision is to provide the most accessible remittance service to our clients across the Caribbean. That is our main focus.
All right, so what are some of the benefits of using digital money platforms such as Zmoney compared to traditional services?
Okay, so I'll touch on it on two sides. The first side being the compliance that digital will allow us to be able to achieve. Traditionally, traditional methods of receiving monies, especially money transfers, are what you call a faceless transaction, because a person comes into a location and they collect their cash and they're gone. That's all you know about the individual, and it ends there. Now, what digital allows you to do is it helps you follow the transaction. So for us in our business, we usually say compliance follows the money. So right from the send side, where the transaction originates from the sender's side, where the money is sent from, you're able to identify who sent the money. You have profiled them. You know your customer. In this ecosystem, we call it KYC. Basically, you have your customer's ID information. You know their identity. On the receive side, what digital allows you to continue to do by following the money through compliance is that you have a person who would have created an account. So in our case, for instance, a customer will register to have a Zmoney wallet. During their registration process, they are required to provide their ID information. They are required to provide their address. You collect their phone number also as well as part of the validation process. Now, this customer has received their money, and you're able to tell what next they use their funds for. So it's no longer a faceless transaction where they get cash and they walk away and it ends there. And you do not know what happened or the financial life of this customer. Now, suddenly, the power of digital allows us to follow each individual and allows from a certain compliance and a regulatory place us to understand what people typically spend their monies doing. So in the remittance business, for instance, what some of the data that you'll be able to churn out from there is when people receive their remittances, what are they mainly using it for? Globally, we've come to understand that remittances are a lifeline for households. So what are persons using their remittances for when they receive it in Barbados, for instance? Are majority of them using it to pay bills? Are they using it to pay school fees? What exactly are they doing with their funds? Are they sending it to other family members? Is it for business? These are some of the things that digital will allow you to do. Another benefit of our platform also now for the customer is that there's convenience for them, and suddenly they have the power because they have the choice, they have the option to decide how they want to receive their money, what they want to do with it, and how they wish to move it. So now, sitting at the comfort of your home, you can receive your monies from abroad. You don't have to close work early or rush through your break time to go and collect money. You can receive it at your convenience. You can send some of it to your bank account. You can pay your bills. So basically, you have control and are able to manage your money yourself. And because there's a record of it also, you start to understand exactly how your funds flow and the distribution.
All right, Kenisha, now you're service delivery manager for a lot of Caribbean people, a lot of Barbadians. Their only really point of reference when it comes to use of digital platforms and their money or digital platforms and finance is to consider online banking or mobile banking. How does this measure up in terms of the connectivity, the interoperability with other services, and what we're able to do with regular banking as compared to the Zmoney platform?
Okay, so our platform allows us to integrate with multiple different platforms. It does not say that our service will completely take away from the banking system. We can integrate with the banking system where you're able to transfer the funds directly to any bank, any account you want to. Where our service extends is you will be allowed to transfer through the Caribbean to anyone holding a Zmoney wallet. That service is not provided. As Felicity said, we're still in a era where we send money, we go stand in a line, process the transaction, and then the person picks it up. We're providing more convenience with this service. And we will start to see it grow through the Caribbean as we go along.
Absolutely. I mean, we've seen the introduction of these digital platforms. First of all, I think Bahamas was first out of the gates, and we've seen other Caribbean countries coming on board with such services. Now, Gabriella, as compliance analyst, what are some of the regulatory challenges that Zmoney faces, and how do you ensure that the company operates within the legal framework here in Barbados and the Caribbean?
Okay, thank you. So really it's understanding what our business is about and what we can do. So if the regulator is able to understand what we are doing or the extent of our business, then they are able to allow us to do certain things. So that's really the challenge. And with customers, I would say it's the compliance. So when they have to provide information, like their ID information, that's where we have a challenge. So that's what I can say.
All right. I know that for everyone, and this certainly is top of mind for me, I'm going to head back to you, Felicity, as country manager, because I know this is probably one of the very first questions that you get from people who are interested in signing up for the platform. How does Zmoney ensure the security and privacy of its users' financial information?
Okay, so first of all, we are licensed by the central bank, which means that we adhere to all of the rules and regulations that is pre-described by the central bank, and so we are accountable to them in everything that we do. As a business, we also have internal policies that guide how we operate. We are also signatories to what you call the Global Data Protection Act out of the UK. We are licensed in other jurisdictions apart from Barbados. Ensuring the security of our customers, our platforms, we make sure that our platforms are first of all certified by global platforms, right? That in its own is one level of security. Now we also ensure that we have different levels of authentication for every customer on their wallet. So before you can do any activity on your Zmoney account or on your wallet, you need to provide a PIN to authorize that transaction or that activity, which means, and your PIN is known by you alone. That's one level of security for you, the customer. Your data is secured, and we will only report to the central bank as is required of us. So your data sits with you and is available at your request. As I would have said, we subject ourselves to global standards, and our platforms are certified globally. For instance, we are PCI DSS certified. These are different security platforms that are international standards. We use CrowdStrike also in our systems for security, for our security and for our cybersecurity purposes. On the transaction side, for processing transactions and ensuring that we know who exactly is coming into our platform, we leverage AI and machine learning platforms to ensure that we also screen our customers against international sanctions lists and also local blacklists where they exist, so that we're ensuring that no blacklisted individuals or identified criminals are able to come into our system at any point in time. So these are some of the ways that we ensure that our platforms are secured and our customers are comfortable.
All right, back to you, Kenisha. Let's talk about the services, what's available. I know you mentioned that as time goes on, in terms of connectivity and interoperability across the Caribbean and across platforms, that will expand as you move forward. What can you do now with the platform as it is set up in Barbados? What's available to customers?
Okay, today you can currently redeem your transaction directly into your wallet. You are able to facilitate the movement of those funds directly to your bank card. If you have relatives or friends who also have Zmoney wallets, you're able to send cash instantly to them. You can once you redeem your transaction into your wallet, you can walk into any of our branches and follow 3 small steps, and you have your cash just like that. That's available today. In the very near future, we will have the option of SurePay. You'll be able to pay your bills directly from your phone as soon as you redeem that cash into your wallet at any time once you have to connect entities.
All right, so those are a lot of services, but it's still important for that face-to-face, come on into the facility to be able to set up. Obviously, as you keep mentioning, you are accredited, so to speak, through the Central Bank of Barbados. So, you know, it's important for people to still understand they still need to have that physical appearance to be able to come in. So do you still offer cards and things of that nature, or is it strictly online?
No, we still have the option of face-to-face. We do have 4 branches currently in operation. That is in the Dole Mall and Warrens, Hastings Plaza, Sheraton Mall, and in the town square in Spice Town. We still have 4 branches for persons to be able to come in and have that face-to-face with the agents. We will look into issuing cards. It is something we do in other markets. However, right now we are just focused on the digital, just the phone.
All right. Now I know that digital money platforms require robust and, of course, reliable technology infrastructure to handle the high volumes of transactions and just for security purposes. So maintaining that can be quite expensive and can be challenging as well. So when we come back, Gabriella, I'd like to hear from you as compliance analyst if there are any particular things that you needed to put in place to be able to fully deliver on the service that Zmoney delivers in other parts of the world. That's all coming up next on The People's Business, so stay with us. This evening, we're looking at digital financial services on The People's Business. Felicity Jaforktuk, Country Manager, Kenisha Connel, Service Delivery Manager, and Gabriella Bang. They're all with us to share with us on the Zmoney platform that is now here in Barbados. Before we went to break, I posed a bit of a question for you, Gabriella, about you know, how you were able to integrate into the system here in Barbados as we look at the infrastructure that needs to be in place. We touched briefly with Felicity on security, which is very, very important. But there's a whole lot more infrastructure that has to take hold when it comes to handling the high volumes of transactions that I would expect that you're expecting to grapple with in time as the platform grows. So what was it like integrating here in Barbados in terms of infrastructure and what you've had to invest in technology? Oh, we lost Gabriella. All right, well, let's pose that question to you, Felicity, about what you've had to invest in terms of infrastructure to be able to get the platform ready for the Barbados and Caribbean market.
Hi, Tisha.
Okay.
So operating as a mobile financial services, it means that we first of all had to have a mobile money box set up and be able to process multi-currency, because you and I know that when monies are being sent all over the from all over the world, it's sent in multiple currencies. If we're allowing transactions to come in from several jurisdictions and it's coming from multi-currency, different currencies, and must be converted into one local currency. So That level of work had to be done to ensure that our platforms on its own will be able to handle multi-currency processing, so that on the receive side, which is here in Barbados, we're able to receive in local currency. Now, we also ensure that on the platform is able to handle a lot of transactions. Now, for us, this is something that we do on a day-to-day basis. Remember that I would have mentioned that we're a subsidiary of leading cross-border fintech Zeepay, which specializes in processing of remittances. We process over 800 million USD in volumes year to year. And so this was an addition and also meant that we had to be able to beef up our existing platforms to be able to accommodate the additional traffic that came in. So there was an additional level on investment to be able to handle the additional traffic and the additional integrations into businesses and into other technical platforms in Barbados to allow us to continue to process.
All right,
And not
we'll
to
get back
take
to.
away from.
Sorry, continue.
Yes, there also are some networking infrastructures also that you have to make sure that are in place, so that you have your secured you have your secured lines and that do not allow other persons to breach into, for instance, your firewalls and the likes.
All right. I understand we have a caller on the line, so let's go ahead and welcome our caller. Welcome to the People's Business. Good evening.
Yeah, good evening, Kenisha, to you on the panel. My question will be, there's so much hackers. So
Okay, I can't hear this caller to my technical team. So we're going to continue chatting, and as soon as you get that sorted, we'll come back in so that we can hear what the caller is saying. Okay, so back to you, Kenisha.
Hear me?
When we talk about the services that are being offered, again, to go back to a point of reference that the average Barbadian might be able to understand, you mentioned SurePay. That's what a lot of people are able to do. They, platforms like SurePay where they can go and pay their bills and stuff like that. One of the major things we were looking at is remittances for you. So how does it work in terms of engaging with, obviously, people in the diaspora who might be trying to send money home and do transactions with their relatives and friends here in Barbados?
So, as I said, the system will allow for the integration of those bills. So you'll be able to pay those bills from your phone. As we see with digital and redemption of those transactions when customers come into our branches, is that a lot of them receive money for bills specifically. So we are allowed to, well, not let me say we are allowed. Persons in the diaspora, if they send money home for relatives, sometimes it may only be their elderly relatives. They don't have to necessarily leave home to receive that money for them or to pay their bills. If tomorrow I decided to travel, I have my Zmoney wallet. If I wanted to pay my bills from abroad, I am also able to do that. Our system allows you to be able to transact from anywhere in the world once you have connectivity.
All right. And now I know that you talked a bit, I believe, if memory serves me correctly. Let's welcome back Gabriella. I believe we lost you, so good to have you back. I believe when you launched, one of the things that caught my attention was much talk about offering small business people, small and medium-sized enterprises, the opportunity to be able to more readily accept payments and things of that nature. So talk to us a little bit more about those particular services and how they will work out for small and medium-sized businesses and larger businesses as well.
Okay, so what we have are called agent and merchant wallets on top of the standard customer wallet. What it does is it allows our partners, what we would call partners, which would be small businesses, medium-sized businesses, to be able to accept those transactions into their business wallets, and be able to have a platform for themselves to be able to see those transactions that are processed.
All right, thank you.
It requires.
Sorry, continue.
Go ahead. Sorry.
You were saying it requires?
Usually with these, with businesses, opening an account is a lot of red tape. This allows for those businesses to have an account without all of those stops. You still require certain things as required by the central bank. However, this is a free service to integrate into our system.
All right, back to you, Gabriella. Welcome back, as I said. Talk to us about how Zmoney plans to expand its services and reach in the very near future here in Barbados and in the region.
Okay, so starting with Barbados, a lot of things are going to be the first for the Caribbean with Barbados. But so far, looking at the success, we'll be able to replicate in the other markets in the Caribbean. So with what we've learned in the regulatory landscape here, we'll be able to replicate it in the rest of the islands in the Caribbean that we'll be moving to.
All right. Do you have any particular person, Felicity, that you're targeting specifically with this? We know usually older people aren't quite so open to these types of services, and most certainly, so it takes a little more effort to kind of get them on board. In terms of the target market and who you're looking to work with in future, talk to us about how you are marketing in that regard, because this will call on a very strong customer service facility, and we can go on to Kenisha, who is service delivery manager, after you answer. But I would imagine that you have to put things in place to be able to bring the knowledge base up to this level, considering this is very, very new for Barbados, and for many Barbadians, this will be the first time that they're engaging at this level.
That's very true, Tisha. So for us, as part of our marketing and as part of the ways we intend to penetrate, first of all, our target customer, our first customer is a remittance receiver, who the service is specially designed for. So every person who receives remittances from abroad is our first customer. So we target them first, and we currently have a marketing campaign that is ongoing. The objective for us is to get people to understand that when you receive your MoneyGram from abroad, you can collect it on Zmoney. We are MoneyGram's partner on digital. So when you receive your MoneyGram from abroad, you can have a Zmoney wallet that you simply will be able to access via WhatsApp. So on your phone, but on WhatsApp, we, as much as possible, try to make our services or our products very basic and relatable. So most persons use WhatsApp. Most remittance receivers use WhatsApp because they are communicating always with their family and friends in the diaspora who is sending them the money. So they are very familiar with WhatsApp. So you go on WhatsApp, as if you were chatting with a friend. So you're chatting with us in our WhatsApp bot, and you're sending hi, and we send you back a menu and say, what service would you like to complete today? So if you have a MoneyGram transaction, for instance, you select MoneyGram and you go through the process to do that. So we have how-tos, we call them how-tos, which provides a step-by-step guide for persons to be able to go through. We go a further step by making them into visuals so that persons can be able to visualize the process easily and complete it on their own. We also are available 24/7 so that people are able to call in and receive the assistance that they want. It is indeed true that a lot of the older generation sometimes are not very welcoming of new things, especially digital. But I am quite surprised, especially when I see older persons walk into our branch, and they are actually more excited about the service that we offer. And sometimes somebody has come in the second time and said, I tried on my own. Can you show me again so that I don't have to come back? So yes, it's going to take us time, but we are committed because that with a lot of consumer education about the power of digital, we'll be able to turn all of this around and provide power to the people.
All right, wonderful. Now, coming up, we'll discuss the role of digital payments in promoting financial inclusion, as we started to tell you about. And we're also going to look at the impact of things like COVID-19 on the remittance industry and the future of fintech here in the Caribbean. That's all coming up. Stay with us. with them and things like that?
Well, our services are available, as Felicity said, 24/7. We do have the option of calling. You will call directly a customer service agent. You are not facing any PDX systems or anything like that. You're going to speak to an agent immediately. You do have the option of contacting customer service also via WhatsApp. A lot of persons are afraid to call, worried about to use the service, thinking that, they don't want to think that they have to call for small things that I am willing to help with, actually.
Yeah, so they just want to make sure that the thing is, I think some people feel like they don't want to seem like if they don't understand the system. So they don't want to ask questions that might be deemed, or they might think are deemed as so small that that they don't understand. Yeah, so I would imagine having the services available on a 24/7 basis, you then are able to combat that to put people's minds at ease.
At ease, yes. And they're also able to walk into any of our branches and receive assistance from any end. There are still some services we don't provide that people are looking for. However, we're still giving the reception this service as if we do currently provide those services. If they need assistance, we still provide it in the same way. Customer service is our top priority in this business.
All right, Felicity, what are you looking to here in Barbados? We talked a little bit about your vision and mission, but operating in a place like Ghana, operating on the African continent, in terms of numbers, is totally different than coming into a space like the Caribbean. So what really are you hoping for, working toward in terms of getting numbers on board? Is that a major part of what will make Zmoney sustainable here in the region? Or as it stands, is this sufficient to be able to see Zmoney be a staple on really the Barbadian and Caribbean landscape?
Yes, Tisha. First of all, in 2022, remittance inflows into the Caribbean and Latin region crossed 140 billion US dollars. So this year is that opportunity in the Caribbean and the Latin region. So on the numbers side, and if you're asking if there's opportunity, yes, there's a lot of opportunity because this is the volume. Barbados alone receives remittance inflows of over 100 US million year on year, right? So this is the opportunity that is sitting before us, which we'll be able to harness and be able to convert onto digital. So that is the opportunity. That is the vertical. I haven't even come down to the horizontal, where there's also the opportunity to open up and deepen the digital economy, enable payments for people, allow persons to be able to make transfers to their neighbors or to their friends easily, be able to pay their bills, and all of the other things that we'll be able to do on digital. So yes, there is a lot of opportunity in Barbados and across the Caribbean.
What are some of the ways that you're working to combat some of the things that aren't quite as easy to work through as maybe infrastructure? We know, for example, that Caribbean people and Barbadian people can be a little wary of people who are from outside of the region. So what are some of the ways that you are working to kind of bring Barbadians, welcome Caribbean people into the Zmoney fold in that regard? And, you could take this question, or Kenisha as service manager, or even Gabriella.
So I'll take it first, and then I will allow the other ladies to come in, right? So first of all, it was important that we get licensed, or it was important that for a business such as ours that is subject to a lot of rules and regulations, it's important, first of all, that we have we have the license and the approval from the central bank to be able to operate. That is the first level of building trust. Zmoney on its own is a Caribbean entity. It's entirely Caribbean. Yes, it's a subsidiary of a larger group, but it's purely a Caribbean business. We are also licensed by other central banks in other jurisdictions. We are licensed in the UK by the Financial Conduct Authority. So we, as much as possible, we understand that in financial services, trust is very important to persons. So we display all of this information in our locations, and we make sure that it's also readily available on our website. And we make sure that there's so much information that persons who want to know about us and be able to verify if indeed we are trustworthy are able to find so much information. That we also will continue to engage in consumer education, like I would have mentioned, because that is the only way that we'll be able to establish the brand in the hearts and in the minds of the people of Barbados.
All right, Kenisha, do you have anything to add?
I think Felicity covered it all.
All right, talk to us about how the service allows for greater inclusion and access to financial services, because we know it really does. There are many benefits to be really derived from digital platforms, from everything from user adoption to just being able to function in a quicker way, access things of that nature. But when we think about it and look at the impact on the environment, I would imagine the way that small island developing states are going, this is a major thrust of yours as well, to be able to show how moving to a digital platform can impact positively on Caribbean islands, which are small island developing states. Gabriella.
Could you repeat the question, please?
Gabriella, I think you missed that. She's not hearing us well, so I'm going to defer to you, Felicity. Talk about the benefits to be derived for small island developing states in terms of moving to a monetary digital platform or digital financial platform, because all of these things impact on our environment as well, which is very, very important at a time like this.
Okay, so first of all, one of the things that digital enables us to be able to do is reduce the cost of deployment. We all know that, first of all, to access financial services, and in order to get your cash, you have to be able to walk into a location, be it a brick and mortar or it has to be something that you can walk to get your funds. Now, the power of digital means that there'll be less cost for deployment, but you still have a wider reach because your distribution is digital. It's right there, it's sitting on the phone. And for every household that you walk into, you find at least one mobile phone in there. Right there is your distribution. That is the power that digital brings to us. So overall in the industry, it reduces the cost to deploy infrastructure. So when we talk about accessibility, it's right there at people's fingertips because you have brought them the financial service into their hands and they're holding it in their phone. That's what we call the power of digital. And that's where leveraging that power that is sitting in their phone, which is in their hands, which is their phone, you're able to extend all of the financial services in there. So there's digital banking and all of the things that we do. All of that it's all of that are sitting on digital platforms, and it just goes to say that you have a wider reach. Everybody who has a phone and has connectivity is able to access your service. So it means that as an institution, I'm able to spend less. I do not have to spend so much to deploy a physical infrastructure for persons to go into. It also means then that I'll be able to have a low scale physical touch point that persons can go into. For instance, I can operate an agency banking model. where I appoint agents in specific locations so that if people still have need for cash, they can go into those locations to access cash. Now, it won't just be my service that will be sitting on that digital, but digital gives us also the power of interoperability. So it means suddenly that all financial services available in a jurisdiction are able to talk to one another. So there will no longer be barriers where if I'm on service A and you're on service B, we will not be able to transact. But this time we'll be able to do so seamlessly without having to move around and have so much trouble just because I need to give you money or because I need to access a certain loan service or things like that. Now, again, with the power of digital, it gives operators a lot of power because data over time can be centralized and a lot of validation can be done. So it goes to say that if I have an account with service A and service B wants to validate if service B wants to validate my identity and do any checks on me because of interoperability and centralized databases, service B is able to run a background check on me and confirm that indeed I meet certain criteria and they can offer me a business. Example is a loan. So they can check my credit history independently of me and the documents that I would have brought to them in order to authenticate and say that we'll go ahead and we'll issue you a credit or a loan. And also just leveraging the power of digital and being able to leverage centralized databases and things like that, you are able to pick up people who default, for instance, such that if a person decides that I'm going to go to service A, B, and C and pick a loan and just hop around and not pay, because of the power of digital and technology, service B is aware that you defaulted at service A, so they are not going to approve it for you. So more and more operators also will be able to manage their risk as well.
All right, we're going to take a break here and come on back. Stay with us. This is The People's Business. This evening, we're looking at digital financial services, and we're joined by some of the staff from Zmoney, the recently launched fintech company here in Barbados. All right, now for me, Kenisha, and this is a question for you. We're having some challenges with our third guest, Gabriella. However, for you, Kenisha, I know for me as a customer, there are certain things that are very important to me to be able to say that I'm fully on board with the platform. Certainly, interoperability, ease of use is major for me, customer service, and fees. So let's talk about at the point of delivery, whether coming on to digital platform is cheaper initially or in the long run for Barbadian customers?
Well, there are no fees to register for your Zmoney wallet. So if that is the real question, to the general public, the service is a completely free service to register. Yes, there will be fees attached to certain transactions. However, those fees are going to be very competitive. I cannot right now confirm how those fees will be navigated or how they will be tiered. However, it will be at a less cost to the consumer.
All right, now for you, Felicity, based on your experience and what you've seen, we talked earlier about the initial response from people here in Barbados. What sort of uptake do you expect in Barbados? So with that said, what are the projections for the next year to 5 years in terms of where you're expecting Zmoney to go on island?
My expectation is to have on board my platform 100,000 agents who use the Zmoney service to receive their MoneyGram transactions, their RIA transactions, to move their remittances into their bank accounts on the Zmoney platform, use their Zmoney wallets to make payments at merchant points or to make payments online. So that is my expectation, to reach 100,000 agents.
Yes.
Actively using the Zmoney platform.
All right, that's a tall order. For you, Gabriella, in the area, your particular area is compliance. What are you hoping for as you move forward? I would imagine based on any challenges that you would have experienced in your particular area of business, what you're hoping to see so that the platform is able to function fully at optimal.
Okay, so one thing I'll talk about is to ensure trust with our customers. Another thing would be also with getting approval to do other things so that we have more products and services for our customers that they would be interested in doing and will trust us to do for them.
All right, and for you, Kenisha, in the area of service delivery, I think more than anything else, and I might be biased, this is the most important part of any service, to be able to offer great customer service based on what you know of Barbadians and based on what you've seen, the expectations of Barbadians, what they want from Zmoney. How have you had to pivot in terms of service delivery? And what are you working toward in delivering service to these 100,000 Barbadians that the country manager is hoping to attract in the coming years?
In the coming years, she is holding me very tightly to that 100,000. First of all, customer service is very, very near and dear to my heart. I'm not sure if you would have heard of how I actually became employed by Zmoney, but it was partially due to my customer service experience. I believe that customer service is the center of any business. I believe, like me, a lot of Bajans would prefer not to transact in a place where they are receiving bad customer service. So I do try to provide the utmost best service that I can, and I do push my team also to try to provide that service as well to each and every customer.
All right, well, I want to thank you ladies for sharing with us this evening in the area of digital financial services. Specifically, we were looking at Zmoney on platforms across the world. Obviously, your sister company, so to speak, is Zeepay. So in doing research, a lot of people would have seen Zeepay coming up, even us, as we looked into it somewhat here in Barbados, and as they expand down the region, it most certainly will be Zmoney. So thanks so much to Felicity, Jaforktuk, country manager, Kenisha, Connel, service delivery manager, and Gabriella Pambang, who is the compliance analyst, all with Zmoney sharing with us this evening. We certainly hope that we have shed some light on where you should go in terms of getting fully engaged in the digital financial sector. And we certainly will continue this discussion. Thank you so much for joining us this evening, and we wish you a wonderful week ahead. Good evening.